Good afternoon, 1700. It's Matty here, and I've come down to Sony, I guess the Sony offices, because I'm joined by Electro Pop Princess. Would that be fair?
Sure.
Yeah. All the way from Auckland, it's Zowie. Let's talk. Okay, let's talk New Zealand for a couple of seconds, because for some reason the last 2 years you guys have gone ridiculous. Not just with your music, but also your rugby. Like that's a granted.
Yeah,
but
amazing.
the music scene that's coming out of New Zealand is off the hook. I mean, you're a huge part of it. What's going on? What's the difference there? What's happening?
I think it's always been really solid, but there just seems to be this really good group of people, like Nick and Famous and Kids of '88 and Liam Finn. All these people just kind of shooting through, and I think it helps with the whole online thing as well. Like people get to
Exposure sort of.
yeah, which is good because they're such great bands as well.
You yourself are one of the decents come out of New Zealand in very recent times. You've gone this year alone. You've been with hanging out with Katy Perry, doing a bit of touring there. Mark Ronson, The Kills, Peaches, and then Perez Hilton has hasn't he? He's done something on his blog. He's like totally loving you on his blog, or something like that.
He's posted up all of our singles, and he was the first one to post up my first single that came out in New Zealand. It didn't come out in Australia, but so he posted it before anyone knew it, and that kind of caused this big thing, like. And so I set up this whozowie.com website, and that's what I planned.
That was you. That was your marketing.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yes.
Congrats. Well, I guess coming from that has led into this massive year that's been the last 12 months for you. Can you sort of recap? I know I've done the research on what you've done, but for our viewers out there, what exactly has gone on this year?
Well, the past 12 months has been our first set of shows as Zowie. I was doing shows before that as Bionic Pixie, but as Zowie, our first shows were for CMJ in New York.
Okay.
And we did a bunch of showcases there, and then this year's been really crazy. It's been 11 sold out dates with Katy Perry over Australasia, and that was crazy. I think it was like 15,000 people most nights or something.
Yeah.
And then we did the Future Music Festival tour, and Mark Ronson. So it's just been a really crazy year while trying to finish off the
Southwest in there as well.
Oh yeah.
South by Southwest.
Yeah.
That old chestnut.
No, we did that. We did the Nylon magazine party in Perez Hilton, and then also the New Zealand showcase, and it was a really cool experience.
We've heard the singles, and they're all very strong.
Thank you.
What's happening? I guess what happens when this album comes down? What can we expect? Is it more along what the singles have, or have we got something a bit of a spanner in the works?
It's kind of a mishmash of heaps of stuff because I was doing a lot of co-writing on the record, so I was working with people who had worked with, the likes of like 9 Inch Nails, to people who have worked with the likes of Britney Spears. So it was like it's like a big mishmash of stuff, and then it's got my writing in there as well, and then my vocals and stuff. So it's a really kind of out there sounding record, but it sounds really cohesive. It's kind of like a mishmash of hip hop and industrial stuff and pop. And,
well, like going through your sounds, obviously, even when you go back through Bionic Pixie, there's a lot of everything there, and you can't just say like it sounds a bit like I've heard Industrial Robins, I've heard cross between like 9 Inch Nails and Kesha's and this kind of thing. But then there's a whole lot going on there. What were you sort of when you're coming to making this album, when you were doing Bionic Pixie stuff? What were you sort of listening to at the time that sort of brought in all these mishmash of sounds?
I think it's more of what I've kind of always listened to, which are the likes of 9 Inch Nails and Gary Newman and Grace Jones, and then lots of kind of world music and film music and that kind of thing, because that's what my parents were listening to, and that's what I listened to. So they have incredibly good taste in music.
Really? But let's go Bionic Pixie, because this is are you like, I've got a bit of like a split personality thing going on. Is that what it is? Is that because what I've been reading is that you had Bionic Pixie for a while. That was a project, and then it morphed.
Yeah.
Is that a fair morph? Transformed
it had a
into
metamorphosis, and I think because when I started Bionic Pixie, it was kind of an accident, because drumming is what I'd always done, like studied drumming at music school and stuff, and drumming in punk bands and stuff like that. And then I started to muck around a bit with computer programs, and I was kind of like, this is so funny. I thought it was just a total joke. I was writing hilarious songs like Unfun Plastic Bum, all these really funny titles, and we still play lots of those songs live as well. It's super cool. And so when I started it and it started to get a little bit of a reaction, I was kind of like, I don't want this to be a kind of typical project. I wanted to you, I guess, evolve into other characters, and I was looking at people like Ziggy Stardust. And,
Yeah, see, that's what comes to mind when this
yeah,
whole
like
evolving
Prince
thing.
and those
Yeah.
kinds of people. You know, when Prince was a logo, I was like, that's the coolest thing ever. And so I did that. So I started to write the Zowie record. But I was still Bionic Pixie at the time, and then it just felt like the songs were getting stronger and I was more comfortable with what I was sort of doing, like how I was writing and that sort of thing, because I was always drumming, so I wasn't really writing like melodies and stuff like that.
How'd you go when it came to getting up from behind the kit and into, you know, more of the melody writing rather than just the grooves?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. I mean, the first time I did it was I was doing a duet with this band, So Modern from New Zealand.
Okay.
And we did a Death From Above 1979 song, and we
Death From Above.
did Pull Out. And it was
Great
super
tune,
awesome.
yeah.
And I was just kind of stood up there, but like had this huge adrenaline rush, and I was like
Awesome.
freaking out because I could use my legs, and I was like running around, and I loved it. It was such a different rush, but drumming is definitely my main love, and I still use the drums live. I still play drum pads, and we're gonna extend that soon.
Well, because in your live show as Bionic Pixie,
Yeah.
there was always saw you behind the pads.
Yeah.
And with the mic at the same time, when you come to do Zowie, is it the same thing? Or
Yeah,
do
I
you step
still
behind?
play that pad, and my guitar still, like my little heart-shaped guitar.
Yeah, that's a cool little guitar.
Thank you. And drumming is like the live side of it will definitely always be a strong thing. Like my drummer setup, the drummer in my band is
Because you've actually got a proper drummer as well.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I look at him like, oh god, I want to be doing that.
So I've always been very confused about this when you get like, you know, a drummer as
Yeah.
a frontman or lady, but then they've also got the normal drummer in the background. How much is it sort of like, yep, you're doing it very wrong because you're my drummer and I'm the front person? do you ever sort of step behind like, man, get out, you're
He's
not doing it?
such a good drummer, and he's got this
Is
crazy
he better
brain.
than you? Are you better than him? Do
We're
you ever have like
different.
a bit of a duel or anything like that?
Sometimes, because he's got like his drum room and stuff, and I'm like,
Okay.
let's go have a battle or whatever.
A drum royale.
But it's so cool, like we just talk drum geek talk all the time on the plane rides and stuff like that. But no, he's such a good drummer, and I was super fussy on who I wanted to get drum. But yeah, the way he plays is insane. It's probably in my top 10 drummers.
Really?
Yeah.
It's a big statement, but then you are
Yeah.
drumming yourself, so you know what you're looking for. I guess. I guess what's happening now? You're coming to I guess the Down Under Summer. Have we got more tours planned? Where can we see you soon?
So we're finishing off the Strange Talk shows, and we're doing a bunch of our club shows at the moment. And then we head back to New Zealand and we do Rhythm and Vines, which is kind of like the Falls Festival lineup as well.
Cool.
And then doing also another one in New Zealand, which it's got a bunch of guys from the Wu-Tang Clan and stuff like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's gonna
Excited
be
for that.
super sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And then I'm not sure about next year, but
Fingers crossed an album.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Excited for it.
Yeah.
Well, 1700, I've been Matty, and this, more importantly, has been, well, I guess this is Watch This Space for Zowie from New Zealand. Guys, I'll catch you very soon.